Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. There's no music today because of some technical issues, right? Hopefully that was okay for you guys. So we're gonna talk a little bit about game week 31 now. So there's only 8 game weeks left, and we're gonna have to use our transfers very wisely. So what I've done, right, which is a little bit different from what I said I would do in the team selection video, because obviously Manchester United played in the Europa League, right, and a lot of things have happened since then. Um, so from the back all the way to the front, right, loads of issues there. Um, in the back line, right, both centre backs gone, Varane and Martinez, and then Malacia also doesn't look good, right, but Shaw may be coming back soon. Um, in the midfield, right, Bruno Fernandes is playing deep again, right? So that's also another thing that makes me a little bit concerned about going for Bruno Fernandes. And then up front, Martial is back, right? But the problem is Martial can't get consistent starts because they are managing his minutes. So at this point in time, I I thought about going from Madison to Bruno Fernandes, right? That was the plan. But I've changed my mind, and last night actually, right, I did Madison to Grealish. I think Grealish is probably the most straightforward replacement for Madison. Right? I wanted to go for Bruno Fernandes, but as I mentioned, I don't think he looks attacking enough for me to warrant paying that price for him. So I'm gonna go for Grealish now, and that probably means that I'm keeping Grealish all the way to the end of the season. As things stand, right, at this point, then I'm probably gonna keep Rashford as well, because Ten Hag says that there's a chance that Rashford may be back in time for Sevilla, which is already next week, right? So that is way ahead of schedule. So if that's the case, then um, I think it's looking pretty positive for Marcus Rashford, right? Luke Shaw as well. He's not in training at the moment, but there is news that he'll be back in the squad. Whether he starts or not, I'm not sure. So I am considering one more move, right? Which I'll talk about in a bit, right? So basically, I've done Madison to Grealish, and yeah, I'm considering an additional move, right? Which I'll talk a little bit about as more of you guys stream in. So I'll say hi to some of you guys in the chat, Ali Mac, early as well. There was no music today in the earlier in the weight room, right? And that's because having some technical difficulties, but hopefully we sort it out by next week, right? So Ruli says, without luck and planning, this game week will turn into disaster. I mean, all of a sudden, this game week has turned into quite a difficult one to navigate. I mean, I thought I would just do Madison to Bruno Fernandes and that'd be it. But now I have to contemplate another move, which I'm gonna get you guys to help me out later with via a poll. Andreas, good afternoon. How is your day? I'm good. I am good. Right. Hopefully you are doing well as well. So there is another move that I have planned. So I'll go over to the transfers page, right? So as you guys can see, I've already used my one free transfer. So I've already done Madison out and Grealish in, right? But it leaves me 3.1 in the bank, and I already had plans to bring Trent Alexander-Arnold in, right? So at this point, is whether I do Zuma for Trent or not, right? It's whether I do this move and bring Trent in, right? And essentially I'll have zero point 0.2 left in the bank. Basically, I have enough money to make this move, and this is a move that I think eventually I will make, right? Eventually I will want Trent for double game week 34, and if I bring him in now, right, then I get the Leeds fixture, and I also get West Ham in game week 33, right? Game week 32 doesn't matter because I'm already going to free hit that week, right? So I do have to decide whether I do Zuma to Trent for -4, right? So I'm going to get you guys to, I'm going to reset this, right? I'm going to get you guys to help me out with a poll and see if you guys think the same. Right. Farid says, my midfield is Saka, Martinelli, Madison, Mitoma, and Rashford. I want to sell Madison. Should I go for Grealish or March? I think you can go for March. I think you can go for March. I wouldn't go for okay. To be honest, I didn't want to go for Grealish. That's the thing. Like, but I feel like I'm a little bit cornered into this move this week. I didn't want to go Grealish because I still feel like he is a little bit wide. I know his stats have improved recently, but I still feel like, in terms of attacking output, right, in the recent games, I still think he has gotten a little bit lucky. Of course, with more consistent starts, right, and the way that City are scoring, definitely he could get more assists and more goals. But I do feel like I wasn't too keen on Grealish, and it's simply because Bruno Fernandes has no longer become a good option in my opinion, right? Then that's why I kind of felt like I was cornered into Grealish. But I think for your case, since you don't have much, I think you can just go for March. Yeah. Thoughts on Grealish in for Odegaard and keep Rashford? Keeping Rashford, I think, is fine. Grealish in for Odegaard, I think that will work. Grealish in for Barnes as well. That would work as well. Carl says when Grealish wanted to go Mahrez but scared. Yeah, I think Mahrez is good for game week 31, but I don't think moving forward he'll be a good option, right? I don't think he's gonna get consistent starts. Shazwan says, wow, same with me. I also want to buy Trent, right? But it's for a -4, you see, right? Let me get you guys to Zuma to Trent for a -4. Right, let me know what you guys think. Right, Zuma to Trent for -4, yes or no? Would you guys do it? I am leaning towards doing it. Right, I think I'm leaning towards doing it. Dominic says Rashford to Grealish or Chilwell/Henry to Ake for free. I'm torn. I would keep Rashford. So Chilwell/Henry to Ake for free. Yeah, I'll probably do that. If it's between the two, I would go for Henry to Ake. Carl says, take the hit. You have a big green arrow next week. So a -4 this week is irrelevant. Take the hit. FPL K-Max says, the price changes were brutal last night. Grealish rising, Madison falling. I was contemplating making the transfer. I didn't do it. Yeah, I honestly didn't think that he would rise. I honestly didn't think, after doing Madison to Grealish last night, that the price changes would be so brutal this morning. Right, when I woke up and I saw that Madison had gone down another 0.1 and Grealish had gone up another 0.1. Right, that is just, I mean, I saved 0.2 there, but honestly I didn't expect it to change that much. And on top of that, Rashford, who has, I think, Rashford is definitely the most sold player this week, right? But his price only moved like 0.1. It only shifted 0.1, right? So I have no idea how the algorithm works, but sometimes it just doesn't make sense. Marcus says start 3 of Trippier, Botman, Henry, Chilwell, Shaw, starting Raya. Chilwell. Trippier for sure, right? Trippier, Chilwell, Henry's on the bench. I think you could start Shaw. I think the problem for me with Shaw is that he's not in training, and that's kind of the reason why I'm contemplating bringing Trent in. Because if I was to be confident that Shaw starts, I'll put him in my starting 11. I don't have to bring Trent in. But it's simply because he's not in training. So I'm not too confident that Shaw starts against Forest, even though Ten Hag says that he'll be back in the squad. I think I think he will be back on the bench. Right, so in that case, because I don't think Shaw starts, I think I'll need Trent. Right, so for your case, I think you can start Trippier, you can start Chilwell. It depends on whether you want to double up on Brentford. If you're fine with that, then I guess you can go for Henry, right, and then bench Botman and Shaw. But yeah, I won't be too confident on Shaw starting. Imran says, good afternoon. Choose 2 between Mitoma, McAllister, and Grealish. I think Grealish will do well this week. Mitoma, I would always, for me, it's between Mitoma and McAllister, and between the Brighton mids, I would always choose to start Mitoma. That's my own, that's the way I see it. Um, Mitoma should have gotten a goal last week, right? Actually, should have gotten a goal. Rafael says Havertz to Kane for a -4. Depends who your other what your other transfers are. But if it's both long-term the thing is I'm selling Kane soon, right? So I'm not so sure if getting Kane in now would be. If you don't have him now, maybe you just go without him. Chilwell to Trent and Matters to Grealish for a -4. That's kind of the move that I'm contemplating, right? Matters to Grealish already done. I'm thinking whether Chilwell to Trent. For my case, it's Zuma to Trent. Whether it's worth it. Let's see what the poll says. 26 votes so far. I mean, 50% of you guys say that you would do it. I think I want to do it as well, to be honest. I think I wanna do the move, if I'm being fair. Should I start or bench Shaw? Yeah, I mean, based on my own predictions, I mean, there's every chance that Shaw comes straight back into the starting 11, but he hasn't trained. Right? So if he comes into the squad, I feel like he would just be on the bench. And the reason why I say that is because they're going to want him for Sevilla, that's for sure. I think Malacia is just not good enough. And their two centre-backs are out. So I just think like they would want Shaw to play in that Sevilla game. And if that's the case, I don't think they would start him in this game right after he's just come back from injury. Maybe they give him 20-30 minutes at the end to ease him back into some football. So my thoughts is that I think Shaw would be prioritized for the Sevilla game, and that's why I think he won't start here. Right, and then if he comes on for 20-30 minutes, then that is just that's just not ideal, right? So that's why I've benched him right now. I would say that even if I had let's say I had a better replacement, right? Because most of you guys would be starting Shaw in my position because Estupinian isn't that good, right? Shaw is better, right? But if I had a better replacement than Estupinian in this position, right? Let's say a Chilwell. I think Chilwell is slightly better for this week. Then I would just be fine to play Chilwell instead of Estupinian in this slot, right? Together with my two other Newcastle defenders and then bench Shaw. I don't think I will start Shaw ahead of Chilwell. Botman or Estupinian, who to start? I think if you are doubled up on Newcastle defense, right, meaning Botman plus Trippier, I think I prefer Botman over Estupinian, right, slightly. I suggest you sell Zuma for Man City defender, either Diaz or Ake. I did consider that, but I think the defensive asset that I want to go for, which I know you guys may not like, is Ederson. I think I want to go for Ederson later on. So that's kind of why I'm not going for a Man City defender. I'm just not confident in choosing one that's going to start for the rest of the season. If I bring that player in, he's going to be in the squad all the way. That's kind of why I'm okay to go for Trent, right? Because Trent will be a long-term transfer. March or McAllister, if you're starting one, I would start March, right? I would start March. Adrian says, my team is Kepa/Raya. One free transfer, 1.9 in the bank. Yeah, I think your team looks good. I think you can keep Rashford as well. The problem is, for those of you guys on a free hit 32, you can't roll a transfer this week. So it's either you use it for a long-term transfer, and that's why some people are thinking about even doing a keeper transfer, which would make sense for those of you guys with no other issues in your team. But you basically can't roll a transfer, right? Which is a little bit tricky for those of you guys who do want to roll a transfer. You have to use it if you're on a free hit 32, basically, right? You can't roll the transfer. Already made my transfers. Did Chilwell and Madison for Ake and Salah puts me up for great for the future. Yeah, I think Salah is incredible to have this game week. If I didn't have Kane, I would have Salah, right? Simply put. Not sure if he's still on penalties, so let's see if they get a penalty against Leeds, and then we'll see whether he's on penalties or not. How many will Chilwell get today? 0 or 1 point. Surely due a haul. He's been dodging points, that's for sure. He has definitely been dodging lots of points. As a non-Chilwell owner, though, I have no idea why. I have no idea that not going for Chilwell would have been a good move. I was honestly fearing the worst when I didn't have Chilwell against Wolves last week. Sugarbender says, great team. Probably bring in John Stone from Palace. On a side note, fun fact, Chelsea have only scored 2 in the last 7 home games. That's the thing, right? Lampard said he's going to shake up the team today, right? I still don't know if we can put a goal past Brighton. That's for sure. I honestly, I'm not confident in our attack. I still feel like we've been lacking a striker. For all the midfielders that we've signed, I still feel like we're lacking an attacker. So honestly, I have no idea whether we can put a goal past Brighton, right? So for those of you guys who think like Chelsea's not going to score, by all means you can start Estupiñán. I probably will bench Estupiñán if I do the Zuma move, right? Which 56% of you guys think I should. Luis Diaz already back in the squad. Is he also in the wish list for Game Week 34? Nah, I think he will be eased in, right? So we will have a couple of game weeks left to see before Game Week 31, right? We have 31, 32, 33 before we get to the double game week to see how Diaz is eased in. And bearing in mind, Liverpool have loads of attackers as well, so there's no real reason for them to risk having to start Diaz so often right after he's come back from injury. Imran says, in which game week should I use my wildcard? If you have a bench boost, then I think you bench boost in 34, so you wildcard in 33. If not, then using it in game week 34 is fine as well. Yep. Watkins to Haaland for a -4. Wow. If you are on a free hit 32, then obviously bring in Haaland is fine. I think the reason why that is tricky is because you could argue that Watkins is someone that you'd want for game week 33 as well, right, against Fulham, right? So in that situation, maybe you don't want to sell Watkins. But if you have a plan for that, then by all means, I think Haaland is definitely necessary if you're going to captain Haaland. Should I play or bench Shaw in my FPL starting 11? I think I would bench him, right? So that's why he's on the bench right now. I'm not too confident that he starts, basically. And I don't want him coming on for 20-30 minutes. Can't get Trent Robertson instead? Yeah, I think Robertson is fine as well. Did Salah to Grealish and Tony to Haaland as captain last week. Felt forced, somehow worked out. Unsure what move I should take. Don't like Fernandes now. Want Salah back. Yeah, I don't really think Bruno Fernandes is someone that you would go for now. I had a little bit of a discussion with some of the members in the Discord just before the stream. Right? We were talking a little bit about how whether Bruno Fernandes would play in the number 10 role or whether he would play in that number 8 role. So the way I see it is that against Sevilla, because it's 2-2 now on aggregate and they're going to travel to Spain to play Sevilla and they need to win that game, the way I see it is that they're definitely going to need Casemiro, Sabitzer and Eriksen in the middle for that game. So because that's the case, right, Casemiro and Sabitzer, their fitness are not a concern at all, but it's Eriksen that's the one that's a little bit of a concern. So I don't think that Eriksen will start this game against Nottingham Forest. I think he may come on like he did against Sevilla. Maybe he'd come on for 20-30 minutes at the end just to get him up to speed again. But I think they make sure that he's fit for that game against Sevilla. Right, so because that's the case, if he doesn't start, then of course Bruno Fernandes, Sabitzer, and Casemiro would be that midfield three again. And if that's the case, then again Bruno Fernandes plays a deeper role, which is not what we would want. So that's the way I see it. I think Bruno Fernandes definitely not someone I would consider this week. As much as in the team selection video, I felt like I would do that move, you know. Do you think Chilwell will start? I think he will start, especially since he's not playing the Champions League. I think he'll start. Gary says, why would you start Botman and Watkins together? So I did have this thinking previously, right, where I don't really want to start a defender that plays my attacker. And I kind of made that mistake last season, right, where it's not just it doesn't mean that if I have an attacker playing against... Obviously, it's not ideal, but if I play both the defender and the attacker, I kind of hedge my bets a little bit, right? So last season, I remember there was one game week I think I was playing Ramsdale and I also had Vardy or something like that. And then I benched Ramsdale, right, because I thought Vardy would score, right? And then Ramsdale kept a clean sheet and etc. Right, so I didn't have that hedge or I didn't have that protection. So I think in a sense you can say that obviously playing Botman and then maybe benching Watkins, or playing Watkins and then benching Botman instead, right, could be a higher ceiling play. But I think in terms of hedging my bets, definitely I think playing both of them would guarantee a return at least on either end. Right, so that's the way I started to see it this season. Right, let me know what you guys think about that logic. But I did remember that this was something that I was okay to do coming into this season, right? Just because I feel like the difference wouldn't be as great, right? As opposed to if I went full on for a gamble on one of the other teams. Is Jesus good for Game Week 32? I think Jesus comes back in for good now. So the only thing about Jesus is that he doesn't have any double game weeks anymore, basically. So I think for Game Week 32 on a free hit, yeah, for sure. But after that, I don't think I will want him, right? Brandon says, are you a Chelsea fan? Yes, I am a Chelsea fan, my friends. Brandon says, Nagelsmann or Enrique. I'll be honest, I think I prefer a little bit of the style that Nagelsmann has. Right? I definitely feel like Nagelsmann is the one for Chelsea. At least that's my opinion. K-Max says, who do you think is the best replacement for Chilwell from 34 to the end of the season? Trent, Ake, or Robertson? I would say Trent, right? Simply because for Ake, I think that he may not start all the games for the remainder of the season. So if you're going to transfer someone in, I'll probably go for either Trent or Robertson, right? And then Ake, I think you would cover him with Edison. Start Tony or Watkins, says Trippier and Botman. I think you start Trippier and Botman, so Watkins or Tony. This is the same kind of question, right? Whether you want to cap your ceiling. Brentford plays Wolves away. Watkins plays Newcastle at home. But with the form that Watkins is in, though, I find it hard to bench Watkins, but against Newcastle, Tony definitely has the better fixture, so I think I would go that way. I think I'll go that I'll go for Tony, and then I would start Trippier and Botman like you said. Aka says Shaw or Henry. I honestly don't think Shaw starts. I mean, that's just the way I see it. So I don't think Shaw will start this game. So that's why I will go with Henry. Brian says, hi mate, will you do Chilwell to Trent for a hit now? I will likely do Chilwell to Trent for a hit in Game Week 34 anyway, so I'm tempted to gain from 31 to 33 with Trent. That is exactly the same thinking that I have with wanting to go Zuma to Trent. Right, that's exactly the same. Right, let me pull up the transfer planner. So the move that I did this week was Madison to Grealish. So this is how the team looks like for this week. But say I do Zuma to Trent. Say I do Zuma to Trent, right? I get this Leeds fixture, right? Rashford's on the bench. Ignore the bench order, right? But I get Trent for this fixture, and then Game Week 32 I'm gonna free hit, so unlimited transfers, and I can't carry any free transfers over. So Game Week 33 would also be one free transfer, but I also get this West Ham fixture. And if I were to line up this week, I kind of saw that it will be a little bit tricky this week, right? Because I have Saka, I have Grealish, I have Kane, who all don't have the best fixtures, and then I have decent fixtures on the bench for Botman. I think against Everton away, I think that's an okay fixture. But I think if you take a look at this team, right, I have one free transfer. I could sell Saka to try. I could move my hit a little bit earlier from Game Week 34, right? Bring it into Game Week 33 and maybe go for Martial. I'm not saying that I will do this, but I could go for Martial and then go for Salah here. Right, and then this sets me up nicely for Game Week 34 already. Right, so this is one way that I see my moves panning out. But the thing is, I'm not really keen on selling Kane for this Manchester United at home fixture, especially since they're having so much problems now in the defense, right? Manchester United. So I actually think this is a fixture that Kane will do well. So come to Game Week 33, I may not want to sell Kane, right? So I may just delay it to later on in Game Week 33, right? You have two free transfers here. And when Saka plays Chelsea and Kane plays Liverpool, then I can sell him for Martial, right? This is the double Game Week 34, of course, right? And then I come for Salah here. That's two free transfers if I roll from 33 into 34. And then the last move would probably be Raya to Edison and start Edison. So it will probably look something like this, but when I come to this week, then I will have a problem. If I go for Martial as the replacement for Kane, I will face a problem where Shaw is on the bench, and I may have to start Shaw ahead of Trippier against Southampton, which I think may be a little bit dangerous, right? Yeah, I know I will have a full team of doublers, right? Basically, I have 11 doublers based on this current plan, but Trippier against Southampton at home, I'm not so sure I want to bench him there. Right, so I will have one extra double game week player. Obviously, it's a good problem, but I'm trying to see if there's a way that I can save a hit, right, and then just have a single gaming player on the bench instead, instead of Shaw, right? Basically, work out a route. The initial plan was instead of Martial, I go for someone like a Greenwood, so that it would be easier for me to just bench Greenwood, start Shaw, and then have extra money in the bench to play around later on. So there's loads of possibilities that I can go, but the point that I'm trying to make is going for Trent in Game Week 31 here when I eventually will want him. I think that's not something I'm opposed to doing. I think I'm leaning towards that as well. I just need to kind of process a little bit more, right? I will probably make my changes in a bit, right? Probably. Start Shaw, Botman, Estepinian. I think Estepinian and Botman are fine to start. I would say Shaw is a little bit risky. I would say Shaw is risky. Who would you start in midfield? McAllister, Mitoma. Right, choosing 4 out of these 5 then. Grealish for sure I'd start. Martinelli I would also start. Right, Bruno, McAllister and Mitoma. I think I start Bruno and I also start Mitoma. Maybe I bench McAllister. Adrian says I see the logic but feel you always kept your ceiling. Right, there's a risky way to do it and there's also a little bit of a more gambling approach, but I think it can definitely pay off. If I think if I was chasing rank, if I was trying to push for a certain mini league finish, right, I'm trying to get ahead of the curve, then maybe I would do it. But I kind of want to preserve my position a little bit as well. I know I'm aiming for the top 50k, but I think if I start both, right, Botman and Watkins, for my case, I don't really have a decent alternative, right? I can't really start Zuma as well. But for those of you with alternatives, right, you could go for the gamble if you're trying to push for a good finish. Adrian says, thought Barnes was out. Yeah, Barnes is out. DS, best defender. In real life, yes, I think he's really good. FPL perspective-wise, I'm not so sure he starts every game. I can say that for every single Man City defender, if I'm honest. Thoughts on Mahrez as a differential? I like him for this week. I don't like him for the weeks after that. Clean sheet for Brentford looks like a possibility. Yeah, for sure. I think Rico Henry is fine to start this week if you still have Rico Henry. Mahrez in for Madison. I think it's a little bit of risk. Right, but it could pay off. I doubt that he will start most of the games in the Premier League, if I'm honest. Especially if they advance further in the Champions League. Chilwell to Robertson or Ake. Can't afford Trent. Robertson. Sugar Bender says Shaw may start at centre-back. I doubt we play Maguire and Lindelof. Yeah, that's possible, but Shaw is not in training still, right? So I don't know. You could argue that Shaw is a start this week. Right, you could argue that. Alisson for steal for -4. I wouldn't do that. Odegaard to Martinelli or hold. I definitely wouldn't do Odegaard to Martinelli. I think it's too much of a sideways. Sal Fernandez or Saka for Grealish. Nah, I wouldn't. I'd hold on to Saka and Fernandez if I had. I think your transfers are more are better used elsewhere. If I could afford it, I want Bruno Fernandes and Tony out, Grealish and Haaland in for a -4. The thing about Tony, right, is he's been dodging the yellow card for a while now. So I have no idea how long more he's gonna be playing. And that looming ban, of course, right? Start McAllister or Watkins. I would start Watkins. FPL Jelly says, morning Leon, good morning. Hope you're well. Start 2, Chilwell, Mings and Botman. Yeah, bench Mings. Spaghetti and Bean says, thoughts on Henry to Konate instead of Rashford to Grealish. Rashford to Grealish I wouldn't do. Henry to Konate I also wouldn't do. I'll just start Rico Henry. Yeah. Chris says, good morning from Rochester, UK. Hope you are well. Good morning. Who would you play in goal, Raya or Steele? Raya. Bruno Fernandes out for Salah and don't mind sacrifice even Rashford for Watkins. Bruno Fernandes out for Salah is an okay move if I'm honest this week. But Bruno Fernandes plays Nottingham Forest, right? Definitely a lot of people would advise against it, but the way that Bruno Fernandes is playing, selling him for Salah may not be the worst thing. Start De Gea or Raya. I would start De Gea. Rashford to Mahrez for a -4. No, I wouldn't do that. K7 says, how can I send you my team, bro? Alright, if you guys want to send me your teams on Twitter, right, let me put up a tweet on Twitter to see if you guys can send me your teams there. Those watching the GW31 deadline stream, send your teams down below. Right, let me put a tweet out. Right, so if you guys are on Twitter, find this tweet, right, and I will feature your teams here and see what I can help you guys with. Right, basically just reply to the tweet and I'll take a look at your teams. Right, so let me get back to the chat. Play Gabriel or Chilwell or Henry. Gabriel for sure. And then it's between Chilwell or Henry. If you're playing Raya, maybe you start Chilwell. Right? If you're playing Raya, maybe you start Chilwell. Saka to Grealish, no, I wouldn't do that. Start Mings, Trippier, Estepinian, Henry, or Chilwell. Pick 3. I would bench Mings, and I bench Mings, and I bench either one of Estepinian or Chilwell. Right? Leaning towards benching Estepinian now. Saka is not delivering consistently. Yeah, that's for sure. Right, Saka isn't delivering consistently. But the thing is, I feel like I can't sell him at this point. Right, I'll sell him for Salah later on. Right, soon I'll sell him for Salah, but I don't think I will sell him this week at least. Alisson in for steal. I don't think I would do that. Saka or Solly March. I'll definitely start Saka this week. Yep. Gabriel to Ake for a -4. Gabriel to Ake for a -4. I think I would just start Gabriel this week. FPL Yellow Army says, hi Consult, can I ask who to start? One from Shaw, Botman, Estepinian, in the bench order between 1 to 2 for the other two. I would start Botman. Right, I would start Botman, and then on the bench I'd have wow, this is tricky. I would start Botman, and then I would have Shaw as first bench, Estepinian as second bench. That's what I would do. Andre says, Chilwell or Shaw out for Trent? Chilwell. Watkins to Jesus. If you are on a free hit 32, I definitely wouldn't do it. If you are not in a free hit 32 and you have, free transfers that you need to use, then yeah, for sure. Is double Newcastle defense the way to go? At least for my team. I can't see myself going anywhere else, to be honest. Keeper replacement for Kepa/Steele Edison. Edison is the one to go for now. Yep, Steven, no problem. Connor says go to Twitter. Right, let's see if some of you guys have put your teams in. Let me refresh this. Okay, right. You guys have sent it in. Alright, let's take a look at some teams. Alright, K7, 1 free transfer, free hit 32. What would you guys do? 1 free transfer, free hit 32. I think the midfield is fine, right? The midfield is fine. Keeping Rashford is fine as well. Up front, you're all right as well. One free transfer. Depends how much you have in the bank. I may do. I may bring Edison this week, right? I think your team is in one of those situations where you could bring Edison in this week, or else if you have enough money, you can go for Trent in defense. Basically selling Rico Henry for Trent. That's probably what I would do. But if you're on a free hit 32 though, you can't roll a transfer, right? You can't roll a transfer. Let's take a look at this one. 0 free transfers, 0.3 in the bank, right? Similar situation, right? What, triple Brighton midfield? I like that. I think I would start Watkins ahead of either March or McAllister though. I think I'll start Watkins ahead of either one of them. Captain Haaland is fine. Yeah, I think you don't have to take a hit for anyone this week. Excuse me. Right, this is Chris. So, what do you think to avoid free hit 32? 1 free transfer next week, 1.7 in the bank, save free hit for 34 instead. Your midfield is definitely fine. Yeah, I think this is definitely a team that can consider saving the free hit in 32, right? Because you have triple Arsenal here. You have Salah as well, right? And you have players that can play in 32. I think you can skip the free hit for 32, Chris. FPL Dre says, Leon, appreciate your advice here. Chilwell or Shaw out to get in trend. Will free hit next week. I think I would go for Chilwell out, right? I'll go for Chilwell out, but oh right, you have Henry, right? You start Henry instead of Shaw, and then go Chilwell out for Trent. That's what I do. Yeah, that's what I would do. Right. Wow. This is getting. Well, a lot of you guys are sending your teams in. Awesome. Right, let me just make sure that I'm covering the chat as well. JWAR says, Manchester United bound to concede surely. We were lucky not to concede when we played them in the Carabao Cup. Wolves low attacking threat. Brentford seem likely to keep a clean sheet. Yeah, I mean, I would start Brentford defenders this week easily, right? I don't think a double up against Wolves is that bad. Right, I don't think it's the worst thing. Let's take a look at this one. Which 4 mids to play? What is which 4 mids to play? Oh, mids. Which 4 mids to play? Right. So it's between McAllister and March. I think I will start March though, right? As much as McAllister has penalties, I think I will start March. Right, this one I've covered. Yeah, this one I've answered. This one, yeah, I've answered again. Thoughts on this? Rashford is fine to keep. Solanke plays Spurs. Chilwell. Yeah, I think this is a okay team. Yeah, this is perfectly fine. You could argue that you may want to start Chilwell ahead of Tarkowski, but the thing is Tarkowski plays Fulham and Fulham just don't look good now, right? So benching Chilwell for Tarkowski could be the play, right? Yeah, I think I would do that. Um, right, loads of questions. Connor says for Swamp Boy, bro, that's me. I want free transfer in the bank. Right, one free transfer in the bank. Um, one free transfer, 1.6 in the bank. I think Madison for Grealish. That's what I would do. Madison for Grealish. But you don't have Haaland though. It depends on how much you want Haaland. And I would definitely start Zinchenko ahead of Estupinian. I would definitely start Zinchenko ahead of Estupinian. I may not go Botman as well. I probably go Henry. So I go with a back three of Trippier, Zinchenko, and Henry. And then I would do Madison to Grealish. And yeah, I think your only route to Haaland would be Kane to Haaland, but I'm not so sure I would be so sold on that this week. You probably captain Kane. You probably captain Kane. Shane says, thanks for the stream. Transfer made Rashford to Martinelli. Wow. Rashford to Martinelli. Right, I mean, you're gambling that he's not back fit. But the team looks alright though. Yeah, the team looks good. Yeah. Right, I totally didn't expect so many questions. Thank you guys for sending them in. I'll try to cover as much as I can. I promise. I'll try to cover as much as I can. If I've missed any, just let me know in the chat, right? I gotta answer some questions in the chat as well. Adrian says who to start, Kepa or Raya? Start Raya. 3 defenders between Henry, Botman, Trippier, Zinchenko, Estupinian. I start Trippier, I start Zinchenko, and Henry. Right. I prefer Henry over Botman. Yeah. Oh, that answers the next question as well. Me or Botman? I prefer Henry over Botman. Start Alex Moreno, Ben Me or Estupinian. I'll start Ben Me. Joseph Green says, good morning. I went Chilwell, Madison, and Havertz for Ake. Right, let me move over to my team for a bit so that those who are streaming in will have a chance to take a look at the team. I am considering, for those that just joined the stream, I'm considering doing Zuma to Trent. So it'd be awesome if you guys can help me out and vote in the poll, right? To let me know if you guys would do, I mean it's 50-50 now. Would you guys do Zuma to Trent? It's 50-50 now. Joseph Green says, good morning. When Chilwell, Madison, and Havertz out for Ake, Grealish, and Darwin for a punt. Thoughts? The thing about Ake and Darwin is that both of them, I'm not so sure will start every single game, but I can see why you would want to go for a City defender to keep for the long term. Darwin as well, I'm not so sure of his minutes, but for this week, definitely he's an okay punt. I just hope he starts this week though. Nathan Smith says, good morning, Leon. Hope the weather is nicer in Singapore than it is in Bavaria. Thanks for tuning in from Bavaria. Right, yeah, I mean, it's super hot in Singapore now. It's like, the weather is super hot and humid. Right, so it's either that or it's just raining every day. So we don't really get much here. How about Henry to Porro, start him over Shaw? The thing with Porro is that after Tottenham play Bournemouth, they will have quite a tough run, right? They will have quite a tough run. Newcastle, Manchester United, and Liverpool. So that's kind of the reason why I think Porro, which I did consider ahead of Trent, but I just don't think I would keep Porro for that long. So I may as well just go for Trent, right? Someone that I would keep for the long term. Bench who, Botman or Estupinian? Bench Estupinian and start Botman. All right. I've skipped some of you guys on Twitter. Let me head over to Twitter. I'm so sorry. Right, let me head over to Twitter and refresh. Right. I'll make sure I cover those at the bottom first because I know some of you guys sent your teams in a little bit earlier. I think I've stopped at Shane. Yeah, I think I stopped here. Right. Fantasy Don says John Stone in for Kepa this week, free hit next week, then Kane and Saka out for Greenwood and Salah in 33. I like the Kane and Saka out for Greenwood and Salah in 33. Alright, there's Sugar Bender. Right, nice. I'm not so sure about Johnstone for Kepa this week though. Free hit next week. Alright, but I think I would still go for Edison though. If I was making a keeper transfer, I'd still go for Edison. I did Madison to Grealish. Any other move you advise for a -4? This one looks like a typical situation of whether you would want to go Chilwell to Trent. Right, this is another typical situation of Chilwell to Trent for a -4. Havertz though, you could remove Havertz, but I'm not sure how much you have in the bank. Considering you have Fernandes, I think you just keep Havertz, but I'm not so sure he starts. There's some rumors that Aubameyang is starting, right? So I think Chilwell to Trent, right, is the only -4 I would consider for your team. Right, by the way, guys, for those of you who are watching the stream, please drop a like if you haven't already so that we can reach more people. Alright, I hope I'm covering all the teams that you guys have sent in, right? If you haven't, just let me know of your username in the chat and then I'll head over to that one. For this one, 0.4 in the bank, 1 free transfer. Wow. This is tough. And you can't. This is a keeper transfer move then. This is either Raya or Kepa for Edison. This one is definitely a keeper transfer, I feel. If any of you guys in the chat have a similar team to Care, who's just sent this in, right? This is a typical situation where if I had this team, I would just go either Kepa or Raya to Edison. Yeah. Right. Right, let me make sure. I didn't expect so many of you guys to come down for today's stream though. Thank you for coming down. I appreciate it. By the way, if you guys are here and you haven't subscribed yet, we're trying to hit 5,000 subscribers. So I don't really like to push this that much, but if you guys haven't subscribed, please help me out by subscribing. Thank you very much. Alright. Who to bench? Botman or Estupinian? I will start Botman ahead of Estupinian. Salah or Kane for captaincy? If it's between the two, I would start. I would captain Kane. I do Saka the Grealish. Nah, I wouldn't do Saka the Grealish this week. Start Kilman or Estupinian. Estupinian. Who to start between Shaw, Estupinian, and Mings? I would bench Mings. And I would start. So it's either Shaw or Estupinian. If you think that Shaw starts, you can start Shaw. But I don't think Shaw starts. That's my opinion. Michael Pott says Captain Kane or Salah. I have no Haaland. I would Captain Kane. Next team is mine. Free hit next week, right? I hope I covered that. Still think Everson is preferred over Ward. Possible, but if it's a keeper transfer, as I said, I think I'd just go for Edison, right? Monson. All right, let me check out Monson. Oh, not this one. Monson. All right, okay. One free transfer, 0.1 in the bank. Yeah, 0.1 you can't do Raya or... This is tricky. You can't do Raya or Kepa to Edison for this one. This is tricky. Watkins, Haaland and Kane up top for sure. I don't think you do any changes there. At the back, Shaw is definitely a keep. Trippier, Botman, and Estupinian as well. Wow, this is tough. You could line up a hit though. You could line up a -4, which I don't really fancy you would do, right? Which is Saka out, right? Saka out for Grealish and then upgrade one of Raya or Kepa for Edison. But the thing is, I don't feel like Saka out for Grealish is that good of a move. What would you guys do in this position? Let's help Monson out here. What would you guys do in this position? Let's see what suggestions you guys have for this team. I'm interested to know. I think a lot of you guys may be in this position actually, where you may not be able to afford a straightforward keeper change from Raya or Kepa to Edison. Then what would you do in this situation? Can't afford to swap any of my keepers to Edison. Yeah. What will you guys do in this position then? My thoughts, right? I'll see what you guys say, and I have my own thoughts, but let's see. What to do with Odegaard? You could sell him for Grealish this week. Bushan. If I buy Edison, should I start him over Raya? That is also an interesting question. I think I would start Edison over Raya if you buy Edison. Start Botman or Mings or Estupinian, choose one. Already starting Gabriel and Trippier. Botman, I'll start Botman. Right, John Green, I got your message. We'll get to your team after this. Right, so some of you guys are saying you have a similar team, don't know what to do. Consider finding ways to get Saka out for Salah, enabling Ken Fernandes be replaced. Henry to another defender is the obvious move. Does he have a free hit? Right, so basically in this position, right, this is my thoughts, right? Probably the lineup that I'm gonna go for, right, is the front three. I start Raya. In the midfield, you're gonna start all 4.5 and 0.1 in the bank. You can't really afford much at 4.6 if I'm honest. Even Ake is 5 point something, right? Yeah, let's assume he has a free hit, yeah. Right, so the question has finally come. I was waiting for this question in the chat. Right, so um um Ramadian, if that's how I pronounce it, right? He says, "Hi, if I roll over transfer now and free hit next week, will I get 2 available transfers in game week 33?" So the answer is no, right? You will have to use your 1 free transfer, which is why it's tricky to be in this position as well on the screen, which is why I've left this team up for a while now. We're gonna move on to other teams. I know you guys are asking me to move on, but you can't roll a transfer into game week 33 if you are free hitting in 32, right? So make sure that you guys use your transfers, and that's pretty much why I'm thinking about a -4 for that particular team. Right. There's loads of teams coming in. I'm gonna go from the top now, because I think the newer ones are at the top. Hold on. All right. Just a moment, I lost the chat. All right. Okay. Let's see. So let's take a look at this team now. Right. Am I back? Am I back? Am I still lagging? Let me check. The connection is not good at all. Alright, I'm back. Am I back? Am I back? I hope I'm back. Alright, I'm back. Okay. Right. Let's get on with it. Okay, I will have to end the stream in a little bit, right? So let me refresh this. I think my internet died for a little bit. I apologize for that. Alright. Yep. Alright, thanks guys. Okay. So let's just finish up the teams, and then after that I'll confirm my transfers if I want to do trend to Zuma to trend, and then we'll go from there. Right, so yeah, this team we've done roughly. Alright, this one, if you're planning on free hit, what would be a good lineup for game week 31? Botman, Trippier, and Estupinian, right? Raya, and then this midfield 4, and then the front 3, right? For this one, don't have a free hit for game week 32. Don't have a free hit for game week 32. 1 free transfer with 1 in the bank. Don't have a free hit is a little bit tricky. If you don't have a free hit though, you could always roll this week. Firstly, I'd go for Raya ahead of Leno for this one. Trippier, Gabriel, and Shaw. I would also start Henry ahead of Shaw. But if you think Shaw will start, that's fine as well. In the midfield, I think is fine. Up front is fine. If you're not on a free hit, I think you could always roll. Right? You could always roll. I hope I'm covering. All right. I don't think I can keep up. I'm gonna miss